Hello, and welcome to Nerds of the Old Republic, the cast where we talk nerdy fiction, and fuck me. Fuck me, fuck.
Fuckity fuck.
Good That's start. Where we're starting it. Yeah.
Good start. This is going to be a good cast. It's all going to improve from here. Yeah, you get what you pay for.
You know what? Somewhere there's a universe where I remember the character names and how we start this goddamn podcast. I'm Adam.
I'm Sean. And I'm Mike.
And we are here tonight with some delicious bourbon peach smashes that are smoked with maple, and here to talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is probably why I feel disjointed, because I haven't sealed up the cracks in my clay pot yet. So I'm just scatterbrained as hell. So welcome. We are going to talk about this movie in a sec, but if you've never listened to us, we always start with a beverage that is themed somewhat, or food themed somewhat, after whatever we're talking about. And so I brought this maple peach bourbon smash here because we love bourbon, just all the bourbon.
Yes, we do.
And it's been sitting for too long. So what do you say, guys? We just jump straight into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Oh, that smoke gets you immediately.
That is
I like that.
So good.
Yeah.
I've been smelling this for like the last 25 minutes.
Wow.
And just the smell alone is delicious. And
that is dangerously good.
Goes down easier than I thought it was going to.
Oh, boy.
Very, dangerously easy. I was literally about to say, I'm kind of glad you made this on the smaller side, because
I mean, we can make more, but
yes, but we got a lot of casting to do tonight. And
oh, yeah. This is, damn, dude. This is really good.
Oh, so, man. For those of you, I know you can't see it, except if you follow us on Instagram, at Nerds of Old Republic, but it has a ounce of maple syrup, an ounce of lemon juice. It's got 2 ounces of your bourbon of choice. And then I smoked the peaches using one of those smoking cloches for probably 10 minutes, and then smoked each glass itself for a handful of minutes too. Check the show notes for the exact, ratios and whatnot, because if you're a mixologist or a bartender, you'd be real pissed at me right now for the description I'm giving. But
I was a little disappointed that you didn't say, smoke this shit. This is not an option.
Now we're just mixing all of our casts all over the place, which, fits for tonight, because that's kind of the theme of tonight, is a little bit of everything everywhere.
All at once?
All at once, indeed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, we are... Oh my gosh, I have to take another sip of this first, though.
My God. It is so good.
I'm trying to make it last, and
I'll just make more. That's fine.
I just want to eat that peach in there, too. That's calling my name.
Eat it right into the microphone.
There are so many places I could go with this right
Please
now.
Don't.
Yeah, feel free to.
Yeah. I have family that listens to this.
Did you guys ever see, I'm sure you have seen Face Off?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Isn't that Nick Cage? He goes, he's hitting on some girl, and he goes, I could eat a peach for hours.
Yes, he does.
After they took his face off, and put it on another
face. That could be a different cast, actually.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
If you've never listened to us before, we are somewhat of a Nick Cage fan cast.
Yeah, we're super fans.
With jiu-jitsu, right?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
The greatest Nick Cage movie of all time.
Greatest episode we've ever done.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I actually would agree with that. Yeah. Yep. Go back and listen to that.
We got to tell Mr. Cage to stop sending us all this free swag he keeps sending our way for our delightful cast references about him.
Yeah, he sent me the nunchucks he used in that movie, which was really confusing how it got through U.S. mail.
Yeah, you got that. I got the piano.
Shit.
And a note that said, "Get off my piano."
Sent me his favorite chair. He knew I'd like it.
Oh.
That was such a stupid fucking movie.
I love how
still
all
love
of
it, though.
I know.
Every single one of these references that we're dying at, 0% of our audience will recognize them. What the fuck are these guys talking about? Yeah. They're quotes.
You know what they would do to recognize it? They could listen to our podcast.
That's true.
On jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a live watch of the movie, as I recall.
It was great.
I will bring it back to the evening's discussion here and say that this one might rank up there with my movies of do I need to watch that again?
Ooh, okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
Early hot take. All right.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, you know what I'm made for here.
Yeah, you're playing a role here.
Well,
somewhere there's a universe where Sean does not play the curmudgeon.
Where I love everything.
Sean loves everything enthusiastically.
I love you.
Cats. Greatest movie ever. My God, Taylor was amazing.
Please tell me you watched that movie.
No, I couldn't bring myself to waste that much of my life.
I just
They added
the image
enough
in my head
buckets.
of picturing you spending 2 hours watching that movie was a great image.
We should make that one of our casts then. We'll all have to suffer through cats.
See, now I regret what I
No,
said.
I literally bought tickets to see Cats live twice and fell asleep twice
Damn.
because it's that bad. I wasted
Really?
about $300, $350 when you include my wife, who also fell asleep both times.
Well,
I have real cats in my house, which are way more entertaining to watch sleep than watch that fucking abomination.
our show just got dropped by all the Cats fans in the audience.
Yeah, all the Andrew Lloyd Webber stands are like, fuck these guys.
All the catsies out there.
Yeah. Memories sucks. I'm just going to say it. The song sucks.
Sorry, guys. That's 6 downloads we're not going to get in the future. So
Fine. Well,
Damn
that's a
it.
third of our audience. Fuck. Anyways, maybe we should bring it back to tonight's.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to hate. I guess you could hate listen to us on this, but we're talking about the 2022 movie by A24 Studios, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
that long ago? 22?
I know, right?
Damn, we waited that long on this?
We had talked about watching this movie for at least a year.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been kicking it
Been a
around.
hot minute, yeah.
It's been a hot minute. The last few months, because of scheduling conflicts, I've had to push things off, and you guys have been really polite and taking my no, I don't have time to cast.
Well, life is important.
Life finds a way.
Yeah. Yes. Life finds.
Life finds a way.
There you go.
Another cast favorite.
What you guys don't know is both Mike and Sean are laying on a table sideways with their shirts unbuttoned down to the navels, staring at me.
Dark, curly chest hair, a
It's
flutter.
glorious. Some other fun facts real quick about Everything Everywhere All at Once. It won Best Actress in a Leading Role for, I believe it's Michelle Kwan, is that right?
No, Michelle Yao.
Michelle Yao, thank you. It has a 93% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. That's
Dear
the critics'
Lord.
side. The critics shoot mustard and ketchup over this all day.
They must love the butt plug scene or something. I don't know.
I wasn't
That is a good
against as
scene.
much as I thought, actually. And then 86% audience.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah. So they're not far off.
Yeah.
Did they all watch the same movie?
Generally, what happens is the audience is like 15, 20% above the critic score.
Yeah.
And then the critics are like, we don't like your fucking movie.
Oh my God. I get it's like a new idea or something, I guess, sort of, even though Marvel has already done it.
Well, that's one of my questions. We're jumping the shark here, but if you've not seen it, I feel like I can spoil this for you, audience. I mean, pause right here. Go back, watch the movie, and then listen to us.
I'm not
I'll
sure
give
you
time.
can spoil this movie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what you could say that would be a spoiler, but
Well,
Spoiler alert.
hot dog hands when we get there. That I didn't know happened.
that's true.
That's
yes.
the thing.
The dildo fight was delightful.
That
It really
that was
was.
definitely a highlight. Yes.
So I guess to find a way into this conversation here as we're dancing around it. So the premise is that our protagonist has to save the multiverses from a uber multiverse villain who can jump everywhere all at one time and control everything. And it just so happens to be her daughter that you find out later.
Joe Baku Baku Aku Haku?
Jobu Kaku Baro.
Is that what it is?
No.
Joe Boo?
The first one is Jobu, Jobu, but
Boo. What the hell is the rest of it? I can't remember.
I have no idea. It'll be the villain every time I refer to her.
What was her name as just a regular American, Chinese American girl? What was
Joy.
her? Joy. Yeah, Joy. We'll call her Joy.
So
There you go.
there is
Evil-
some
evil
universe
Joy.
where we all remember all the characters' names also, but this is not that. And so we start off with like I would have called it Alpha Earth, but I can't use that because that's the one that tries to save everybody.
Right.
So I guess we can call it
Our
Earth 1, our
Yeah.
Earth, right?
Yeah.
With
Earth Prime.
yeah, there you go, Prime, where the characters own a laundry shop and you kind of see they're struggling. And then all the shit goes down at the IRS audit. So the like most mundane of places
Yeah.
is where all the crazy shit goes down, which I liked that touch.
Yeah.
So my first thought was I saw a lot of references to other sci-fi or like dystopian movies that I really appreciated. Like there's a lot in that first scene where they're in the IRS that made me think of The Matrix,
Very much.
right?
Yeah.
They're in the cubicle.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
All of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right. Wake up, Mr. What's his name?
Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Yep. And at one point, she's literally like running into a cubicle to like dodge the people looking for her.
She ducks under a table very much like him. And even just the mundane nature of like the lighting and everything felt very much like that.
Jamie Lee Curtis was pretty fucking awesome in this movie.
She was a highlight for sure, especially in this scene. Yeah. I mean, she was great throughout the whole thing, but that early scene was like her moment to shine.
Right.
And I only saw the movie the one time, so like I don't have all the quotes in my head, but some of the shit that she was getting off there was just fucking killing me.
Oh,
she was hilarious.
She was great when she brought attention to her awards.
Yes.
The first thing I did,
I love that Chekhov gun.
Those look like fucking butt plugs. And she's like,
and they were.
Yeah, it turns out we were right.
Yep.
But everything about everything about her disposition and the way she was talking was so like just off-putting and unsettling in the most funny way. You know, she would be sitting there and she'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Is this something about this conversation amusing to you?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you paying attention?
She'd be like, "You listened to me, but you didn't listen to me."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was just so. It was great. I was laughing out loud at that part. That was a great scene.
One of the best, just like scene chewing performances I've seen in a long time. She
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, and then she becomes this villain, like the head hench person for Jobu. I'm gonna stick with Jobu.
Okay.
Throughout the whole time, and one thing that really impressed me, without getting into some of the other references, like the other specifically Matrix stuff that stood out to me, was that everybody had to play like 3 or 4 versions of themselves. So like it's a heavy lift as an actor. I really appreciated that. Like she's got to go from like the schlubby, no offense, IRS person who's wiping almond cookie crumbs off her chest awkwardly. And she's like sitting, like either that's got to be prosthetics, right? Like that they put on her to make her body appear that way. Cause that's not Jamie Lee Curtis.
She's pretty thin, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is prosthetics. I think that's right.
So she's like sitting like that. And then all of a sudden,
it's definitely not Body by Activia. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's a nice 90s or early 2000s deep cut there. And then she's got the like, circle on her forehead, which is a receipt, but it ends up being the bagel.
Yeah.
And she has to act like this badass, almost like a zombie sort of character that charges through shit. So like I appreciated that.
Yeah. You're making a great point that the range that most of the actors had to bring to this their performances was really amazing. Like even Michelle Yeoh essentially playing the same character, but like different versions of her. And you can see like every one of them was a different performance. Like the movie star version versus the laundromat version versus the, there's another one in there that she did a lot of throughout the whole thing, but
the wushu, like the I call it the wushu pinky, where she learns to train. She's got the one pinky, the one pinky punch, which we are going to talk about.
The Neo
later too,
version of her, and then there's the hot dog.
There's hot dog fingers version.
And just there's so many different layers to it. That I appreciated it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those movies where I have very mixed feelings about it, because there's things about this movie that I really liked that I thought were great, and then there's things about it that really I didn't like so much.
Agreed.
I think that's why I'm starting with like the homages to the different genres of movies that I know we all like.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was one of the things that I thought was excellent here was the acting across the board, the commitment to the parts. None of this would have worked if any of the characters, if there wasn't complete buy-in to some of the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
And all of the actors were 100% committed. I didn't even realize till after I had watched the movie, and I think I was talking to you, Sean, and you mentioned that was Short Round.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yep.
I thought he was the best of all of them in the entire movie. That guy was
Ki Hui Kwan? Ki Hai Kwan? I'm not sure how you pronounce the middle part.
I can't help
I'm
you
not
with
sure
that.
either.
But he was Data in the Goonies, which Mike would not be familiar with.
Yeah, I would not.
That was every time I see him and then hear him talk, I'm like, oh, it's Data. Where's their pinches of power? They could have made a whole reference to that. And the other one.
Yeah, in his fanny pack, right? He had a fanny pack.
We got to get to the fanny pack. Hang on.
Yeah.
But the other one that got me too was James Hong. And he's the guy who was like, Seinfeld 4 from that episode where they went to the Chinese food store. But he was also the main bad guy in Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, which is one of my all-time #1 movies. Fight me on this. One of the greatest movies of all time. And he was the guy who was like, 2 girls with green eyes? What does it mean? You know, like that guy? We didn't do a cast on that one yet, did we?
No,
I've
Put
never
a pin
seen
in that. We're coming back to that, audience. That movie fucking fucks. Right there.
Fucking fucks.
I love the new slang use of fucking in all the ways, but so like look at all these little like side connections that are getting us into the movie. What else was I thinking of? So, you know, just continuing with the Matrix thing, like you gain new skills and then like your head shakes a little bit through the like, you know, universe jumping or multiverse jumping, which I thought was kind of Matrix-esque. Like, I need a new skill.
Right.
I need to find somebody. They had operators in the van in Earth Alpha.
Right.
And they were, like, leading them through all of it. And then the moment of realization for Evelyn happens when she stops bullets.
Yeah.
Just like in the first Matrix. So I was like, okay, I see.
Yeah.
This is cool. I appreciate this. You know, she didn't go, whoa.
Yeah, there's no Keanu Reeves moment.
And then she, like, you know, can see the code or whatever, but pretty much.
Yeah.
I did like the wrinkle they added to it, though, with you have to do something absurd to create a link between you and the universe you're trying to access, which leads to so much of what makes this movie fun.
Yeah.
At its core, it's just the bizarre stuff that goes down, and you're like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple more things I'm thinking of, and then I want to talk about, like, the theme versus the tone of the movie.
Okay.
Because that stood out to me. And there's some scenes I want to imagine, like the director being like, okay, so now in this scene, you and Jamie Lee Curtis are lesbian lovers, despite your character in the other universe not accepting your daughter's lesbianism. And you have to have oral sex with your hot dog hands. Scene.
This was a thought that occurred to me many times watching it. How did they write this? You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to, I'm sure. It's one thing to watch it all and be like, okay, I see what's happening. But to imagine what the script would have looked like is hard to do. Like, it's hard to picture what that would have looked like on paper and how you would have put that in the hands of actors that you wanted for the part and be like, read this. We're interested in you playing the part of so-and-so. Like, how do you visualize that while you're reading this script?
It had to be like the kernel of the idea, you know, this multiverse sort of thing. And like you said, with maybe some chemical help, just started coming up with bizarre things to throw together, like some kind of scenario around the main, like, I mean, when you look at the core of the movie, it's nothing new. It's a mother and her daughter and their relationship.
Right.
And that's the heart of the film.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's the multiverse stuff that really takes it to like that level of absurdity. Well, special guest cat in the cast tonight.
Yeah, I love it. Which one is that?
This is Snap.
Hey, Snap.
But it reminds me of, speaking of The Matrix, Will Smith was the original person who was up for the part of Neo.
Thank God.
You guys have heard that before, I'm sure.
No, thank God he didn't.
But he's talked about this in interviews, and he's talked about how he turned the part down, and he did Wild West instead.
Oh, God.
And he tells this story jokingly, you know, because obviously we know now in retrospect where those two movies went. But the way he explains it actually makes sense. He's like, I'm sitting here reading the script for The Matrix, and it just sounds like, you know, way too off the charts. Like, it's hard to understand what's happening, and it's hard to visualize what that's going to look like. And then you read Wild Wild West, and it sounds like this badass, like, shoot 'em up Western and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get that. Like, that's the difference between, like, what you see on screen and how it appears in the script.
So he chose the steampunk Western.
My God.
Which
There
was
is
Kevin Kline.
There is one redeeming factor to that movie, and that is that there's some a little partial nudity with Salma Hayek in it.
Thank God you didn't say Jackie Chan, right? Wasn't Jackie Chan in that?
No, that was High Noon.
so.
Huh? Oh, I was
Yeah.
thinking those came out
Or Shanghai Noon. sorry,
Shanghai Noon. They came out very close together, so I
Hollywood
they
had
linked
like
up
a
with them.
like a comedy Western renaissance going for a couple of years.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I liked Wild West for what it was when it came out. But
Right.
It was no Matrix. And
Oh, God,
I'll be-
no.
be real, this movie is no Matrix either.
Well, I'm not saying it is, but I think that there's a lot of nods to the genres it borrows from.
True.
So,
Oh, sure.
you know, we had seen Kill Bill, and so much of that paid homage to like early kung fu films.
Right.
And I saw a lot of that in the whole like training sequences and montages, like the one finger push-ups, and then the the realization that you can like wushu pinky your way through things.
I love the giant pinky like muscles too. Like there's like those every like little visual gag.
Yeah.
I appreciated that. That was cool.
Yeah. And I think there's so many visual gags and like so much visually that's why we're struggling to talk about it, because it's like, where do we go? Plot wise, after the IRS scene, it's 45 minutes to an hour of fantasy martial arts, which I'm here for. Love it. Absolutely love fantasy martial arts fighting. We can go through our favorite moments there for that. But then it's like the realization between mother and daughter, and then the realization that fighting is not the way, manipulating the universes towards love is the way, and then there's your cutscene, right? So
in the end, it was fairly cliched.
Well, I think it was maybe more complex than I expected it to be as I like read through my notes here, but we'll get to that. You guys want to talk about the fight scenes and your favorite moments?
Well, I mean, this is a good time to talk about the fanny pack scene. That was
shit. Yeah, it made me like Mike sent a text to everybody. He's like, fanny packs are back in.
Hey, fanny pack, you'll know in a minute. No.
Yes, they are back in actually.
Yeah, they are.
Just like for women and men.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna like rock a fanny pack or something.
I was expecting it like
no.
a link to like H&M or like an Hermes leatherback.
Like a Sabres style fanny pack or something.
Nope.
You order them now.
That is a sight you will never see, my friend. Never. No matter how in they are.
They wear them cross body now.
Yeah.
So like across your chest.
Yeah.
Not like a messenger bag.
So that's not a fanny pack then. That's like what would that be? An abdomen pack or?
If I had
pectoral
abs, yes.
pack?
Small messenger satchel.
Yeah.
What are you a
Small
dad
package.
cargo shorts guy though? Will you rock the cargo shorts so you can have all your dad pockets?
I am wearing cargo shorts right now, actually, but I've cut down on my cargo shortage over the years for sure. But I think that cargo shorts, like this all. Do we really want to go down the cargo shorts like side?
Not sure.
I don't know if we need everything.
We'll probably cut it for time.
I stopped wearing them for a while because everyone's like, they're the least sexy thing that you can wear, blah blah blah. And then I got a little bit older. I think I turned 40 is what happened, and I was just like, why the fuck do I care at all?
Which is part of the theme of this movie. There you go. Bring it back
there
around.
you go.
Thank you.
Yes.
English teacher the fuck out of this
good.
one.
Love cargo shorts.
So the fanny pack fight scene.
Yeah. And
was
the chapstick
fucking
eating.
amazing.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Yeah, so that introduces. You don't realize it then. It makes sense in retrospect, but that actually is the first time you see I think it's the first time you see the like do something disgusting or bizarre, and it transports you because you're like, why the fuck is he doing that? Like, is that just supposed to intimidate them? Like, this dude's crazy. He just fucking ate his own chapstick.
Yeah.
But then he does like the fanny pack shit, and it's like. Again, it's one of those things where if it, like I said with the actors, the total commitment, anything less, it wouldn't work. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with the fanny pack fight scene. Like if that is not choreographed and executed and edited exactly right, it would just look absolutely absurd on screen. And it's fucking awesome. It's brilliant.
It walks that line between like B movie and like fantasy kung fu, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon sort of fight. Like. And I love that shit.
Right.
So I was eating it up.
Well, they had that homage too to the kung fu master teaching the student with the pinky thing and all that. And I'm like, oh man, this is Kill Bill too. It's like it's
dude. Every time he like in between whipping a bunch of dudes' asses, he would like pause and he would like readjust the strap all intimidatingly. And,
Or he would reach into the fishbowl, grab the rocks, and add it, and then he would drop it to the ground. Come on, now.
One of the best things about that part was you see they put the camera on the other side. And you see his hand come down, and someone's just sitting in that cubicle, and they kind of lean back like, what the fuck is happening?
Yes.
There was some really good shit in this movie. And I would say, I said before, the acting, one thing I loved, the editing, I would say is my favorite part. Like, to pull this movie off, it moves at such a frenetic pace, and it is so complex when it juggles everything that it's trying to juggle. Mm-hmm. The way that it is edited is on point. It is perfect and flawlessly done. I don't know if it won an Oscar for that, for like the cinematography or editing.
That I saw.
But it absolutely
you
should
can
have.
fact check me,
It is
Sean.
one of the most like perfectly edited films I've ever seen.
Did one of you guys tell me that it was one person editing the whole movie? Somebody, I thought,
I didn't
when
tell
I
you
was
that.
talking about that,
but-
said that.
So it Academy Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role, Academy Award for Best Picture. It won?
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, it
or was
did.
it just
Yep.
nominated? It won.
No, it won.
It says it won, yeah.
See, you're wrong for
Shazam.
not liking it.
Academy
wrong.
Award for Best Directing. I agree. It
Sure.
was well directed.
Yep,
An Academy Award
absolutely.
for Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Short Round.
Short round.
I'm sorry, there are 41 more. Academy Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role for Jamie Lee Curtis. On point. Academy Award for Writing. Original Screenplay.
There you go.
It was very original.
Screen Actors Guild Award. Academy Award for Best Film Editing. Right there.
Yeah,
Did
okay,
it win
did
it?
Rogers.
As it
Win or
should.
nomination?
It says Academy Award for Best Film Editing
Okay.
2023.
Yes,
Paul
that
Rogers.
I agree with
Damn.
that wholeheartedly.
All day, yeah, because, dear Lord, the amount of simultaneous cuts
Right.
that happened, the overlay between faces that happen all the time, and dear Lord,
Yeah.
so much.
I mean, this is a movie. This movie has, I think, and this is maybe one of my criticisms too. It almost feels like it's like for an attention deficit disorder audience. It is so much stuff, so much shit happening all the time, so quickly. You don't have time to breathe. If you so much as look at your phone, you miss 27 things. You know what I mean?
It's like Family Guy.
But the flip side of that, the flip side of me saying that is, in order to pull that off, you need like absolutely pinpoint perfect editing. Because it's like you have fight scenes and you have people jumping between different universes and all this shit happening at the same time all the time for 2 straight hours. The editing was phenomenal.
And so you have to pay attention to everything.
Yeah.
So like
All at once.
Yes, right?
Beat me
So
to
like
it.
we all feel a little overwhelmed by it, but like isn't that what Jobu is feeling?
Yeah.
Right? Jobu has the power. She was pushed too far. Didn't want it. Mommy pushed her too far. There's the start of your theme, right?
Yep.
Mommy pushes you too far, won't accept you for who you are, so you splinter yourself or stop feeling some emotions. You
Right.
don't show them who you are fully, and then you can't take it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you throw everything into a bagel. Everything.
Yeah.
Craigslist's ads, feelings, like what else did she say? A bunch of shit. So like the editing plays into,
Right.
for me, the idea. Because you're right, like if you blink, when Jobu first shows up, she's wearing this absurd Lady Gaga-esque outfit.
Yes.
And then you blink, and in, I swear, the very next frame, not the second, but the frame, she gets another outfit.
Yeah.
Or more glitter. Or
Yeah.
the outfit changes just a little.
Right.
Oh my God, how many times did they have to shoot that first scene where she keeps changing so often?
Right. It had to have been a really complex undertaking. And to your point, Sean, like you said before, you don't know if it's one you need to see again. And I get that from a standpoint of like maybe just sheer entertainment value. But for me, my thought was the opposite. My thought was like, this is a movie I need to see again because I'm like, there's just so much fucking detail and I'm just trying to follow the plot. And I feel like if I go back, like, and I just from now I got the plot. Now I want to see how the thing was put together and catch all that detail. I feel like you'd really benefit from like a second watch there. I don't know if who's got the fucking
Who's got the
time,
time?
but
Yeah.
It's the right kind of movie for like a film club. If we
Yes.
could show that in high school, it
Right,
would.
exactly.
But it's
Perhaps the dildo fighting scene or the butt plug fighting scene.
and I'm afraid that
Might
the
be a
TV
no.
edit version was just not. You're going to lose too much.
no, it wouldn't. Yeah,
but it is a film students kind of movie.
It
you wanna
maybe a college
dissect it.
class or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is
So,
probably why the critics love it so much.
right, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else in fight scenes we want to talk about.
The
before we
fucking
switch to
dildos and
Yeah.
the butt
Dildos,
plugs.
covered in ketchup, right?
Well, let's get to this. We'll get to the hot dog hands in a minute because I think that was one of the most famous things about the movie people talked about. But like the dildo fight scene is charmingly absurd.
yeah.
And I think that was just, again, it's just the weirdness of seeing her holding these big fucking floppy, like
They had to be at least 24
2-foot
inches.
dildos. Yeah, very good. And then, if that's not absurd enough for you, because they have to do something crazy to get their powers, the next thing is you have to jam something up your ass.
Yep.
And there's the scene of this dude ripping his pants down
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
flying through the air.
Right.
to
Slow
land
motion.
after she's already pulled somebody else away from doing
Right.
it, and this guy slow motion lands directly on this butt plug shaped award, and that's not enough. Then he's fighting her, and they've got
You
it
keep seeing it.
blurred
Dangling.
out as it's dangling out,
Yeah.
but they blur his junk, but the dildo
Right.
thing or the butt plug is hanging out of his ass, and the other guy's got something else jammed up his
Yes,
ass.
like a ward or something.
Something else, so like a broomstick. I don't know what it was, but they're fighting with their shit, and then she has that moment where she pulls the plug from both of them, and then they completely lose their power.
Pulls the plug.
But
You
and
got it for that.
there's the editing
Thank you.
again too, though, because that shot of the dude like flying through the air in slow motion is like a low angle shot, and you see him coming like over the camera. I think he's like holding his own fucking ankles as he goes over the top. Like
he absolutely
it's quite a
is.
shot.
It is. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed a lot of this movie, but that is one of the high marks. It's just so weird.
There's so many creative shots in it. Like, we're laughing here about this.
Yeah.
And it's like the right tone, I think, for what's going on. It's ludicrous, right? Like,
Right.
Marvel's got the corner on serious multiverse movies.
Yeah.
Don't even try. Don't worry about it. You'd be too repetitive. But like in that very same scene, she fights them for like 2-3 minutes with blurred out junk, but you're right, butt plugs hanging out. And then they go to one guy, the guy with the award, it was like a bowling trophy or some shit. Because they had like
They're both
like a
awards
marble
then.
well, one was like a marble base that had like the foil cylinder, and you just expect like a bowling trophy, like a little bowling person on top or something, but you never see what it is. He like goes to like Dragon Ball Z style slide kicker, and he slides for like 12 feet.
Yeah.
And the other guy with the butt plug comes high at her, and you just see Evelyn like look both ways, and then Matrix style contort herself sideways, like crane style fighting, and grabs them separately. That's such a damn cool shot.
It is.
Right.
You know, outside of anything else.
The context is what makes it ridiculous.
Oh, for
but
sure.
The execution is beautiful.
Yeah.
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 You, like Mike's been saying the whole night, you cannot get away with this sort of thing if there's some sloppy
Right.
editing or
It has to
something's
be
off.
expertly done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a win there, and for sure it was reflected by the Academy Award. So.
Yeah.
But the hot dog fingers.
We can go to Hot Dog Fingers now, which gets introduced in the laundromat in Earth Prime when you don't realize it, but Evelyn is watching. It's actually a callback to a scene from before she starts multiverse jumping or universe jumping. Waymond, I hate saying it like that because it makes me sound like I'm stereotyping, Chinese American speaking English. But Waymond is watching that Bollywood film with the dude who was hitting on Evelyn, and they're dancing, and then that scene's repeated, but they all of a sudden something's wrong in the universe because or different in the universe because they have sausage fingers or hot dog fingers that they lovingly insert into each other's mouths, and then you get a quick shot of ketchup and mustard exploding into their mouths lovingly, and they expect it.
And what's great about it is they could have just left it at that, and for you to ponder, what the fuck?
Yeah, what was going on in that universe?
But no, they did a whole deep dive thing with like
sure
evolution
Multiple
of
signs
humans
of it,
getting like hot dog finger, and they did the thing to 2001.
2001.
Yeah,
There's your
that
other
was. I
sci-fi
forgot about
reference.
that. That was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fighting with hot dog fingers, killing the humans with regular
And
fingers.
you don't see that till the very end when he falls down and his hand unfurls and it's regular fingers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just, do we really need it? No, but did it
was here
serve the
for it.
movie? Sure.
That was great.
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
But that's another thing I wonder, like, what did that look like in the script as you were reading it? Like, wait, we're back in hot dog finger universe? Like, what the fuck?
And it kept coming back.
They did. There was
wasn't a one-off.
No, because there's that spin-off universe where Jamie Lee Curtis and Michelle Kwan, is that her name?
It's Yao.
Yao, Michelle Yao.
I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm pretty sure it's Yao. Or Yo.
Are
It might be Yo.
lovers.
Sorry.
Are lovers, and like that gets like 20 minutes at the end because it helps Evelyn. I'm gonna stick with the character's name. It helps Evelyn understand her daughter.
Yeah.
Totally gets it.
But it's weird too, because at the same time, like they could have parlayed that into something with now Evelyn understands that character in her universe where she's the IRS agent and everything, but it turns out that it's her husband who somehow talks her into an extension, and all of a sudden, like, all is forgiven, and then they're doing fine. I felt like there were some narrative like disconnects. Like it's like you had a thread going and then you just cut it and went in a totally different direction, where sometimes that pays off and sometimes you're just left going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I felt like it was a little bit more of the what the fuck at the end, like trying to make this movie tie up. I think they kind of ran out of steam a little bit.
Well, and I had a sort of similar thought. Like one of my criticisms of the movie was they kept, at a certain point, like maybe the last third of the movie, it started becoming about what kind of lesson was she going to learn? Like what was the lesson to be taken away?
It did switch.
And then every time you thought she was learning the lesson, something would suddenly undercut that, and it was a new lesson she was supposed to learn. And that kept happening. Like, it was like, I've always hated this place. And it's like, oh, good for her. She's going to leave. She's going to walk out. And I was like, no, that's not, you can't walk out on your family. That's not the lesson. So she goes back,
she
right?
Stabs Data and like.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then, I mean, there's the part where like she regrets how she didn't, introduce Joy, right, as the daughter's name.
Yeah.
She didn't introduce Joy's girlfriend as girlfriend, right? And Joy was clearly hurt by that, right? So that was the lesson she learned this time. And she says, like, Dad, this is Joy's girlfriend. And Joy's still upset. And they have to go outside and like they have to argue because she still did something wrong. And they keep changing the lesson on you. There's always a new lesson. And toward the end, it became like she has to speak up for herself. Like, you are gaining weight and I feel like you never want to talk to me. And so, okay, speak up for yourself became the lesson. And I got the point that like whatever's gonna be the last lesson she's learned when the runtime that the studio has approved hits, that's gonna be the takeaway. That's gonna be the lesson that we're supposed to learn from the movie.
They kept moving the goalposts.
Yeah, it's just
weird.
Whatever you thought you were supposed to be learning, they undercut it.
Yeah,
I think I just got confused because I lost track of what universe we were in.
Yeah,
at the end. So like theoretically, the bagel machine that Jobu made is spinning in the background. You've got Alpha Gong Gong, who we have to talk about his mech suit in a little bit. See, you don't even remember. We'll get to it. So that's spinning in the background.
Yeah.
That's spinning in the background. And she's in, I guess, Earth Prime with Joy and tells Prime Gong Gong that this is Becky, Joy's girlfriend.
Yeah.
They have that fight there. And in the other Earth Prime where the bagel is spinning, the lesson I got was, to be a mother and to be a good mother is to solve everyone's problems everywhere all at once, because the fight up the stairs, she had to solve their problems, not beat them. You know, she fixed the guy's spine.
Right.
She got this dude with the other dude. She did all those things. And I'm like, well, that can't be the lesson, because she was already struggling to do everything all at once at the laundromat. So that's a shitty thing. Don't end on that. Please don't end on that. Like, what a toxic lesson for women.
Right,
cool.
right.
So
and it didn't, right?
It didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it didn't. In fact, the last thing I said, so there's a quote that I skipped.
Butker approve?
He would love it, except for she was not in the kitchen. Let's see.
Oh, that gets a bell.
Thank you. So I said the narrative of a woman needing to be everything to everyone all at once to finally fight back is a negative. Okay, so the mother-daughter scenes at the end kind of redeem the tone, or the arc here, because it wasn't that. It was, okay, I need to accept you for who you are.
Right.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
I didn't like the fat thing. I didn't like you didn't call me a thing, because that's still toxic. But at least like she was accepting Joy for who she was. And that's what got Jobu to come back out of the bagel instead of killing herself.
Right. Yeah.
In the meantime, Alpha Gong Gong, because it would be way too serious, there was a noise like 20 minutes ago in the movie, and you just see him like smile and he stands up, and I'm like, oh, he could walk the whole time. Alpha Gong Gong could walk. But then by the time she gets 2/3 of the way up the stairs, you see he has like a mech suit wrapped around him with like printers and fax machines and like shit like that moving him. So like they couldn't let it be serious, I think is the other issue. Like when it needed to be serious, it couldn't.
Right.
Because it was too like ludicrous. And that was what I was going to like end the conversation with is, you know, is this just an entertainment? Is this a cool concept? Or were they aiming for us to walk away actually with something?
I mean, so that's a great question. And what I found myself thinking is any disappointment that I had with the movie, I think was only in terms of how absolutely like lauded it was, and all the accolades and how it was all anybody was talking about. I think it gave me an impression that was slightly different from what the movie actually was. I think if I had just seen this movie without any of that buildup and any awards, like, I think I would just be like, dude, this is a fucking really cool ass, like, half serious, half funny, like, science fiction movie with a lot of really cool stuff going on in terms of the cinematography and editing and writing and all that stuff. It's definitely an everything in the kitchen sink kind of movie. Again, I think I think at the end where I was a little bit of like head scratching was I was like, I mean, it would sort of be like if, what's an equivalent movie? Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
That's a really good analogy.
Yeah. Like, imagine if that had won, like, 27 Academy Awards and everyone was talking about it, and then you saw it, you might be like, wait, really?
Yeah.
But yet it's a movie we all love. And I did enjoy this. I mean, there was not a second of the, whatever it was, 2 hours that I was watching that I was not entertained. I was very entertained the whole time, and I was very impressed with a lot of the stuff.
I guess that's the point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to be entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Indeed.
Sometimes we take our movies too serious. Right?
Yeah. Right? Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah. I knew you were going to be like that.
That's high praise from Sean.
Honestly, that's like that's like hearing good job from my parents. Like,
you tried.
What you get. Yeah. Yeah. Great fucking participation ribbon, Adam. Great job. So, all right, I guess those are our recommendations then for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Well, it's free on Netflix, so
it is.
If you're a subscriber to Netflix, you can watch it anytime you want. So there.
That's true.
There you go. Don't pay for it.
Nah.
More than you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, at that note, we'll see you next time we are going to be talking about the stellar, one of the OG cyberpunks, Neuromancer by William Gibson. Holy shit.
Good conversation.
Yep. You better save at least 3 drive times for us for that one. All right. Until then, stay nerdy, yo. Cheers.
Cheers.
It has no right to be this good, but it's good.